Oh, it's a small world filled with fairgrounds in miniature.
There is, arguably, nothing more depressing than a fun fair which is temporarily retired for the winter. For one thing, it looks as though it's been vandalized in order to stop anyone who might nip over the fence and have a bit of fun. It's very depressing and it's very cold. And it's very empty. And it's very silent. But I know a fairground that's always open, winter and summer, where the paint's always fresh and everything's moving. Fairground in miniature, all the work of Arthur New. A traditional fairground, a complete Cockney memory from when Arthur was a boy.
I used to clear off from home as soon as I learnt that the fairgrounds were coming in my vicinity. And of course, when I got home, I used to get a whacking good hiding.
But these gallopers were worth every thump he got.
To me, even now, it's a thrill to be able to climb up onto a horse and go up and down in a beautiful slow motion. I think there's nothing in this world that will beat it, and it never will.
Arthur would never forgive himself if his fairground wasn't exact in every detail. So when the real thing is available, Arthur measures it. He squirrels and burrows over and under this ride in the steam fairground in Liphook, in Hampshire. He records every recordable dimension. But when he finds that an old ride has totally disappeared from the fairgrounds, he must then rummage through old archive material to find the original technical drawings and photographs to help him build his models. In any fairground, there must be a steam engine, the muscle behind the fun. Arthur's is too small to be practical for steam, so he uses compressed air, the next best thing. It provides the illumination for all the rides and is, it goes without saying, exact in every detail. But it's not the only steam engine Arthur's ever built.
I had a past collection which consisted of 132 pieces, all in all. This, unfortunately, and it cuts me up really to tell you this, I lost in a fire 2 years ago. As far as I was concerned, that was the end of it, because I couldn't dream of going back another 35 years, let's face it. Personally, I don't think I'd live that long anyways. But eventually the wife got round me, and of course the bug bit again, and Arthur's off again, you know, building more rides and roundabouts. up to what I have got this present day.
One of Arthur's greatest achievements is this organ, which he built from the only surviving illustration, a record sleeve. The band leader, one of Arthur's first carvings. During the war, he was badly wounded and in a German prison camp. He was taught to carve by a fellow prisoner, a Dutchman, and they used a cutthroat razor bribed from a guard. A razor he's still got, its blade sharp with memories.
During the night, we used to dodge the searchlights, pinch pieces of wood off our hut, and we'd made some tallow wax candles out of fat which we couldn't eat. And at night time, we used to sit down and carve the different figures. Now, 20 years ago, I was challenged and told that I could not make a model organ which would play with paper roll music. So I said, right, Arthur, down the piano shop I went. I bought myself a tracker bar system. I brought it home. What did I do? I put it in the organ, and much to my delight, it played wonderful music. Now, as this organ is worked exactly on the same basis, the organ pipes you see made with Bristol board all the way through. All the carvings and paintings you see at the top are coloured in their original colours of showman. Down the bottom, I've made a small xylophone, which of course will play with the music, entirely handmade. Even to the skin on the drum, I fitted in myself.
But Arthur doesn't keep his skills to himself. This Dobby set was made by his wife.
I am thankful because it's almost sent me crying.
He holds 2 club nights a week in North Taunton in Devon, where he now lives. One for the ladies, one for the lads. Segregation, he says, makes for concentration. And his star pupil is his wife, Pat.
When we bring up the stove, by the way, the stove has got to come.
But she doesn't quite see it that way.
I got so fed up with being a grass widow, where the model making was concerned, so I thought, well, if I can't beat him, I'll have to join him. And this is how I started model making myself. Yeah.
This will be just a job. Hello, Simon. What the devil are you doing here tonight?
Well, I found out I got some few cracks where the woods is split.
Well, what we've got to do then, old lad, I'm sorry about this, but you'll have to polyfiller all the way through, right? The young people of today, of course, I want to really get through to them and teach them the fairground equipment, because gradually pieces in this country are being sold and they're going abroad, which in my mind is a damn shame.
You can build a fairground, and it might take years. It's a thing of great nostalgia and beauty. But when you come to move it, you might wish you'd spent your time doing something else. Arthur New never wanted to do anything else, so he has plans for the future.
Well, I'm hoping that I can settle down and put it in a museum for the rest of its life. Eventually, when I leave this world, I'm hoping that my fairground will still carry on to remind people of what we used to have and what we were once proud of.